Hello. Hi, this is Kate, and I'm here with Vila, and we're talking about the Sisterhood of the Goddess.
Yay!
Um, Yay! So I really love this idea, Vila, and you sent me the YouTube video, and I got to look at the website, and I'd love to hear more about this. So tell me more about the Sisterhood of the Goddess.
Yes. Well, thank you for having this opportunity to talk today, Kate. So, Sisterhood of the Goddess is an online discovery circle that I have designed to be a way for girls, for women, for moms to come to a whole new layer of discovery of both the goddess within and by understanding and getting to know goddesses from around the world.
Awesome. That sounds phenomenal. Hi, Nicole. So, Vila. We lost Vila. Where'd she go? Maybe she'll come back in a moment. Um, so, let's see if I can get Vila back on. There you are.
Hi.
I was about to message you. I'm like, holding my tongue right and like getting my phone out.
I'm back.
Good, fabulous. So we were talking about Sister of the Goddess, and I was about to ask you, how did this come about? Like, how did you come up with this idea?
So I have been working with goddesses now for, I don't know, I'd say about 25 years. And it really was really the awakening point for me as a young woman. So in my 20s, my early 20s, as I was going through kind of a dark night of the soul, I literally, came across a set of goddess cards and, goddess books. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so interesting. And I had never, I'm Greek by origin, so I'd been around the idea of Greek mythology and the goddesses that are there. And but when it was like, oh, there's goddesses from all around the world, and they all have something that they offer us and that they teach us, and so I dove into that, and it was really instrumental for helping me get through a very difficult period of time in my life. So that's kind of the very early origins of it.
It's interesting that you said it, because that kind of happened with me too. When I started to, so I grew up in a religion that basically focused on a more masculine god,
right?
And so it's not like I even acknowledged that like the feminine was even there,
right.
And so as I started embracing more of what is spirituality, Mary Magdalene worked with me a lot, and I loved working with her, and so that was kind of a stepping stone for me with goddess work. Yeah,
and that's a huge piece. So what I've designed with the Sisterhood of the Goddess right now is a way for moms to be working with their daughters with this goddess curriculum. So instead of it being something where you've got somebody who's a leader, leading girls through it, or a teacher or something like that, it becomes a really special, intimate, wonderful way for mothers and daughters to connect and learn together. So it's a co-learning platform. So basically what happens is moms and daughters get together once a month for a goddess date. And so I provide, through the Sisterhood of the Goddess curriculum, an outline for a goddess date focusing on a different goddess per month. And then I meet with the moms online, so we get a chance to go through it together, and they get to have their own experience with it. So it becomes a way for the moms to have a super juicy time of goddess connection, and then also to have it with their daughters. And then also we circle up again to kind of have a support group around how that process is going for them.
Oh, that sounds so fantastic. Like so it's like basically for moms to have a bit of a mentor
Mm.
with learning this, or learning the archetype of the goddess, and then they get to share that with their
Yeah.
daughters.
Yes, exactly. And what's also really cool about this, and part of the reason it's called a discovery circle, is that it really is about discovering what is within them. And so, my job is to facilitate that process. So I facilitate a circle for the moms to discover their relationship with that goddess archetype. And then the moms then take that platform and have a co-discovery process with their daughters. So it's not so much about the moms teaching their girls, but rather the girls and the moms discovering more about themselves together, which is super special. And so I've designed it to be a kind of a preteen, in that preteen time frame, while the girls are still really, impressionable and excited about time with mom. And so then, before we get to that age range where they're like, yeah, whatever you're talking about, mom, not interested. And so when they do come to that, they have a whole, a whole pantheon, or a whole, like collective of allies of these different goddess archetypes that they have a relationship with, whether it's the actual, sense of that spiritual connection, or whether it's just that archetypal expression that they have an understanding of within themselves.
That's so fantastic. I why do you find goddess work now to be especially crucial?
Yeah. So absolutely. Kind of what you were saying before, it's so true that so many of us as women, and then the girls that we grew up as, we didn't have a connection to any kind of divine feminine. It's not part of our collective mindset. Our concept of the divine is generally masculine, and that creates a really kind of strange dynamic within us as young girls. And it's like we don't really understand, and it's like, well, how does that work? We're women and we're female, and why is divine male? Like what? And so but it's so deeply embedded, it's really hard to put words to sometimes. And so I think there's a growing sense of that angst or anxiety, or even where the tension between girls or between women comes through. And so by engaging these goddess archetypes that have been on the planet for thousands of years, right, that we start to awaken that divine feminine within us. We start to awaken that sense of a deeper power, a deeper connection that we have inherently as girls, as women, and then especially as moms. And so it allows for a huge boost in self-esteem, self-confidence, self-expression. And these are all some of the key points that start to come about as a result of our discovery circle.
Yeah. Oh, and like, I guess what I've found too with working with goddesses is there's so many facets to just even one goddess, right? And like as a woman, being able to understand the many facets that I have, and seeing that mirrored in a goddess is like it helps me to open up more into all of who I am.
Exactly. Yeah. And so by giving it to the girls earlier on, before going into adolescence, where they kind of get a lot of pressure to sort of pick one way of expressing, right? Figure out who you are. Are you an academic? Are you are you a jock? Are you whatever, those stereotypes that kind of tend to happen around, in the adolescent years. This gives them, it literally shows them, like part of what we do in the Discovery Circle is a slideshow. So we do a lot of imagery of showing different ways that these goddesses express themselves. And so you get to see, that one day she's like this, and the next day she might be like this, and the next day she's like this, or even within the same day, right? And that's
all okay.
Yes, and that it's all good. It's not just okay, but like that's how we're designed. We're designed as multifaceted beings. And so this idea or this pressure to express one way or choose one style is actually contraindicated. That's contrary to who we actually are as humans.
Yes. Yes. So, so what are all the details for this? If to sign up, when is this happening, for how long, and how can they get in contact with you for this?
Yes. So the Discovery Circle is starting up in October. So it's an online platform. So it's open to people anywhere, women everywhere. So moms are invited. So moms with daughters ages about 6 to 13. That's really flexible. It depends on the girls. It depends on the moms. And so it's for moms who have a desire to engage for themselves with this kind of goddess curriculum, this kind of way of exploring the goddess, and the moms who are interested in really giving this to their daughters. And so I have a 9-month layout right now. So we're going to do a fall quarter, a spring quarter, and a winter quarter. So 3 goddesses per quarter. And I have a variety of different goddesses from around the world. So we'll do Egyptian, Greek, Hindu, Japanese, Tibetan, just kind of getting a nice tour around the globe. And so goddesssisters.org is the website, and the information about enrollment is there. There's a little information video that helps kind of lay it out a little bit more. There's a lot of components to it, and including some original artwork. I have an amazing illustrator who's creating some goddess coloring sheets that are specifically for our Sisterhood of the Goddess. And so we're going to be putting those together and eventually creating our very own goddess deck. So I'm super stoked about that.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you, Vila, so much.
Yeah, one more thing. So if, for anybody who's interested, I am hosting a sample webinar, what I call a mama meet, which is the opportunity to meet with the moms and go through a sample curriculum about the goddess Gaia, so Mother Earth goddess. And so I have one of those coming up in just a few days. So I'll add the invitation link here. So it's a free webinar. Anybody who's interested in checking it out is welcome to join me.
Perfect. Fabulous. Thank you so much, Vila.
Thank you, Kate. Great talking with you.
Good to talk with you too. All right.
Until next
Bye, everyone.
Bye.